All right, we are back in action for some SharePoint Weekly Roundup. So we, like I said before, we've kind of been doing this in the mornings during Open Chat. Every day at 11 a.m. I do Open Chat for about half an hour. So if you want to come hang out and just chat a little bit about Microsoft and SharePoint in that space, then I'm here. So if you do attend, then you might hear a lot of what we're going to cover today. But today's session on Fridays at noon EST, Eastern Time, we like to cover the newsletter that we send out as a company that goes out to and crawls the web and says, what's all the new greatest things that's being talked about right now in the SharePoint space? And SharePoint is a Microsoft product, in case you don't know. I know on the Twitch platform, maybe not a lot of people are familiar with that, but that's, so yeah, we send out a newsletter that goes out and gets some good information about that, rolls it up and compiles it into a weekly newsletter. And so today, on Fridays, when it releases, I figured, why not jump on and talk about it. Oh, yeah. So, let's see what we got going on here. Let me pull up the newsletter. And then we'll start doing some screen sharing and we'll take a look at it together. Just gotta find it. There it is. Inbox. So I'll just say right now, if you are interested in that newsletter and getting some information from us, we don't spam you, of course. This is a weekly thing, and then you can opt in and out of it, obviously. But there's a link there in chat if you're interested. You can register for our newsletter there, and you'll get that on Friday mornings. And then Fridays at noon, I'll be here online to talk about it with you. Just kind of hang out, right? A virtual SharePoint hangout. All right, where is it? There it is, the weekly roundup. I'm just gonna open it up in email and then view it in my browser. Let's close all these down. Okay, let's pull it up. All right, so this week, what are we looking at? We are looking at top news stories. Happy holidays, everyone. That's right, man. Christmas coming around the corner. I got a new link here at the top of our newsletter that includes a link to our Twitch page, which you're currently viewing if you're here looking at this live. So now you'll see that at the top of the newsletter so that you can join us. Let's get right to it. Top news stories in the SharePoint space. Microsoft's new Office app for Windows 10 is coming to all Office users for free. Say what? What is this? Look at that, they got the new icons in there already. Microsoft is replacing its existing My Office app. It's jumping around on me here, sorry guys. With the new Office app for Windows 10, a progressive web app which will be available to all Office users soon. Let me drop this mic just a hair. There we go. So it's been looking for ways to simplify the way users log into Office and find their documents via its Office.com portal. December 19th, the company is taking another step in this area by introducing something it's calling simply the Office app for Windows 10. Well, it definitely incorporates the new design stuff they've been releasing and dripping out into the news recently. The new Office app is the successor to the existing My Office app. Yep, I don't know if you guys have used that at all. I think that's it right there. Yeah, it's just called Office, I believe. Let me just pull it up. This one. Boom. So this is the existing one. Watch it be the new one. That'd be awesome. Super slow. Hopefully that's an improvement. Sorry, I'm just gonna throw a tweet out real quick while I'm waiting for that to load. Join me for the SharePoint Weekly Roundup with @Bamboo Nation on So yeah, you can join us on YouTube or on Twitch here. And come hang out. Check it out. I'm going to tag Bamboo Nation. I'll tweet that out now. Bada boom. All right, this isn't gonna load. I'm gonna pass on that. So anyways, that's cool. We got the new Office experience here coming for, what do they call it? The Office app for Windows 10. Windows 10 how to blah, 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 blah. Yep, those who already use the existing My Office app will get the new Office app through an automatic update once it's available. Those who don't can download the app from the Microsoft Store. It's a progressive web app, a PWA. For those of you in sort of the web dev space, you're going to be familiar with what PWAs are. Officials confirmed when I asked, starting in the summer of 2019, new Windows 10 devices will ship with this Office app. All right. Nito Bandito. All right, we got that out there. What else we got going on? We got how to convince your IT team to continually improve Office 365. How do you do that? All right, filling out lengthy IT support ticketing forms that no one understands, enduring time-consuming site request processes, taking overly complex annual employee surveys. It's no wonder so many organizations have customized Office 365 solutions, processes, or workflows that end in users' hate. Yikes. Kind of true. Let's see. Understand why IT is reluctant to make changes. Digital solutions always need to be updated. There's always a way to make tools, workflows, and processes simpler and more user-friendly. However, many IT teams tend to delay or avoid making these needed changes out of a desire to play it safe. Amen to that. That's definitely our government, as I support a lot of those customers. You know, their feeling of leaning towards being, you know, risk-averse definitely hinders and slows down the progress that they could be making there. I think that just applies across the globe in all aspects of government, not to mention all the bureaucracy and et cetera, that stops progress there. But having been part of a lot of those particular projects, I know why their IT teams are reluctant to make changes. And I've lived that, so good point. There's another reason, and that's they rarely get rewarded for their innovation. Amen to that. Tolerate risks and introduce rewards. First step is to allow your IT team to make mistakes. For an employee to be entrepreneurial, there should be no prospect of penalty if things go wrong. Explain to your IT team the necessity of exploiting Office 365 to the fullest. Not enough that they know they're allowed to take risks, they also need to know there's something in it for them, a distinct motivating factor. Second step is to recognize their innovative efforts. Amen, that just kind of applies to company culture as a whole, right? Again, we're talking about how to convince your IT team to continually improve their Office 365. A state of constant improvement. You'll never use Office 365 to the fullest unless you continue to build better and better solutions. Create a culture that rewards, both literally and figuratively. Innovation and your IT team will deliver. That's cool. Good article by CMS Wire there. Nice little cultural plug. What will you get with a Microsoft 365 consumer subscription? Yeah, what will you get? You get Windows, right? You get a Windows license. So after successfully rolling out its Windows Plus Office bundle for enterprise customers, Microsoft is working on a consumer version. Here are my predictions on what subscription will include, on what that subscription will include. Let's see. Please don't play. Please don't play.
Oh, hey, baby.
He played.
Happy holidays.
You having an ugly sweater party?
This site and their stinking autoplay videos. All right. A listing on a public website has accidentally given away details of an unannounced product Microsoft is developing. My colleague Mary Jo Foley had the details last week in her post. It's readying a consumer Microsoft 365 subscription bundle. That's awesome. So Microsoft 365, if you don't know, is an offering to pretty much combine Office 365, which is all the Office products and suites, some SharePoint, some blah, 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 right? Like all the things that you might need to run a business, included with a Windows 10 license. And then that Windows 10 license is very neatly integrated into, like, you know, sort of I get drawing a blank here. It's the tools for managing desktops, right? Pushing updates and policies, et cetera, et cetera. So all that stuff tightly integrated, right? Like the businesses can then use to really just sort of subscribe to the whole suite of tools that a employee might need to do their job. I think it's really cool. And plus, with Windows 10 new sort of update process, to where it's just going to be Windows 10, at least for the time being, but continually iterated on. Subscribing to that makes a lot of sense. So this development shouldn't be surprising. As I noted at the beginning of 2018, Microsoft's been actively looking for ways to milk more revenue profit out of its Windows cash cow. PC sales are down, Windows OEM licensing revenue is flat, so the monetization opportunities have to come from somewhere. Microsoft 365 is a way to sell Windows plus Office licensing bundle that includes an Office 365 Business or Enterprise subscription, a Windows 10 Pro or Enterprise upgrade license, and a bunch of centrally administered security and management tools. Yeah, like I said. What else? Windows 10 Home to Pro upgrade. Most consumer PCs are sold with Windows 10 Home, and most consumers are understandably reluctant to spend $99 a PC to upgrade to Pro. So why not offer that upgrade right as part of the Microsoft package, 365 package? Security features: just announced Windows Sandbox feature, a lightweight virtual machine that allows users to run potentially suspicious software in isolation. So here we're talking about what you get with the new Microsoft 365 consumer subscription that's sort of been leaked. Custom email domains, Outlook.com Premium. Currently, the only way for a small business or a family to attach a vanity domain to their email is to buy a full Office 365 business subscription. That is very true. So, I don't know. I've done a lot of small business email things through 365, and I always end up just doing the business subscription. I'm not sure why I would ever do a 365 for home and need a domain. I don't know. Maybe just trying to think of a business case, but, you know. So sharing and communication, Microsoft throws in some Skype minutes as part of its Office 365 home subscription. That's nice. Love to see Microsoft Teams adapted for use by families. All right. That's what you could possibly get. I don't think it's been said yet, but those are the assumptions. So Microsoft SharePoint for iOS gets support for @mention and more. Okay. How's that? Adding a few nifty features and other improvements to the collaboration app. The latest update for SharePoint bumps up its version number to 4.5. Jeez. These sites and their jumpiness, right? What's new with the app is the addition of support for @mention in the comments portion. It also sends you a notification once others mention you in a comment. Okay. So we're getting up to speed here with the rest of the world. SharePoint is, of course, designed to let you collaborate on a project with colleagues by viewing files and information. Yeah, it did just get a major redesign. That was nice. It looks good now. All right. Very cool. Be the first to try Microsoft's new Edge browser. Oh yeah, we talked about this, I think, earlier in the week or last week. So Edge is going to the Chromium, what do they call it? Is it like framework or something? Browser technology. Please stop. Microsoft will no longer go it alone with Edge browser. Earlier this month, the company said it will move its Edge browser to Google's open source Chromium software. Web developers are likely to applaud the change because it means they won't need to test their software on as many platforms. Freaking men. For the rest of us, it means that Google's dominance of the web only grows with one less independent technology platform in existence. That is true. There's a lot of concern for Google owning the web. And rightly so. It'll be interesting to see what the new Edge browser will look like and whether it will support Chrome extensions, which I think there's an assumption out there that since we'll move to Chromium, Microsoft could do some amazing things if they allowed Chrome browser extensions to just work in Edge. Because that's true. And how soon the Edge shows up for Mac OS, or Macintosh, or Apple. I'm also curious to see the frequency of which Microsoft rolls out Edge updates since they will no longer be tied to Windows releases. Good point. Microsoft Edge Insider Program expects to release a preview build of Edge in early 2019. If you're eager to give it a whirl, you can join the Microsoft Edge Insider Program to be notified when a preview build is available. There's a link. Might be useful for me to... I just thought about something. As I'm going through this, it'd be nice to share this with you all so that you can click along at your own pace. And here's a good link for that. I'm going to share that one. So this is going to be the newsletter online. All right, so there's a link. You can click on that. You can actually visit the newsletter archive here. We are on 12/21, so you can click on that and open it up. Check it out. So, yep, there's that. So there's links inside of this article to go and sign up for the insider preview for Microsoft Edge browser if you're interested. What else we got? Microsoft's new Windows 10 19H1 test build paves the way for new sandbox feature. This sounds interesting. Windows 10 19H1 build 18305. Is that what I just got today? Saw a big update this morning when I... Yep, sure is. That's what I got today. Add support for a new sandbox feature for isolating potentially suspicious apps, plus several other new security user interface and updates. This is what I was looking for. I was talking about getting this update this morning, and I was like, I don't know what it brings, but I got to read the patch notes, so amen. Here we go. So the latest build includes one of the very few major new features revealed so far by Microsoft. That feature, Windows Sandbox, is a containerized desktop environment. It allows users to run potentially suspicious applications in isolation. That's handy. Is it convenient to use? So this build, which Microsoft is rolling out to fast ring testers, which I am, on December 19th, includes support for the Sandbox feature. It's been testing this feature privately for months, back when it was known as in-private desktop. All right. In addition to adding Sandbox support, today's test build enables the setup and sign-in process for Windows 10 with a phone number account that skirts the need to create a password. Those with Microsoft accounts with their phone numbers included can use an SMS code to sign in and set up an account on Windows 10. Okay, so a new process there for authentication. Once that's set up, users can opt for Windows Hello Face, Fingerprint, or PIN to sign in. So that's cool. This build adds tamper protection, a new setting from Windows Defender Antivirus in the Windows Security app. It also includes a new protection history experience, via which users will continue to see detections by Windows Defender Antivirus. Excuse me. But updated with more detailed and easier to understand information about threats and available actions. Cool. Cool, yo. What else? Today's test build also includes a simplified start layout for new devices, new user accounts, and clean installs. The new layout is a single column with reduced top-level titles. A new start layout, huh? Oh, it was, yeah. I actually expanded it. And you know what? They added all these stupid links back to it, though. That's frustrating. There are a number of known issues with today's build, particularly around Windows Sandbox. Testers should read today's post for a full list. There's also a lot of other incremental new features. So yeah, here's a good post. It looks like it's from ZDNet. Beware of the autoplay videos. All right, let's keep going here. What else is happening? Microsoft will remove a significant Windows 10 enterprise pain point in 2019. Anybody got any ideas what that is? No? What's the pain point? With the release of 10 and Microsoft's mandate that it be updated twice a year, installing major Windows 10 updates is very slowly becoming a routine activity. True that. Even though the company is expanding the life cycle of each fall update, when are required to update your environment, it's about to become slightly less painful. When the user sits down to start working, they are greeted with the update dialog and then have to sit there and wait for Windows 10 to finish. Yep. With the next major update to Windows 10, that should arrive around the month of March of 2019. It will include automatic restart and sign-on for enterprises. ARSO. Automatic restart and sign-on. Okay. The new feature will automatically sign in a user after an update is applied to finish the setup procedure and then relock the PC. Feature will be enabled on cloud domain joined devices that meet certain security requirements. BitLocker has to be enabled. Okay, TPM 2.0 and Secure Boot. The odd thing about the addition to Windows 10 is why it's needed at all. If the OS can log in on its own, does this mean that the credentials are stored and accessible to the OS at any time? I'm sure that Microsoft has thought about this, and it's part of the reason why you need 3 different security tools to be enabled for it to function. Jeez. Okay. That's pretty neat, though. From a sysadmin perspective, very interesting. All right, so so that was our top news stories for the week. What's going on around the blogosphere? SharePoint web part updates, Yammer conversations. Yep, we talked about that this week. They got some new web parts coming out for SharePoint Online. Yammer conversations being one. My Documents web part, a YouTube web part. There's a My Stream web part for your Microsoft Stream hosted videos, and a few others. So that's a good link to go check that out. Flow, send email to SharePoint group members. I don't think I've seen this one yet. I worked on a project recently where the customer wanted to send an email via Flow to all the members of a given SharePoint group. Normally, I would recommend that a distribution list be made and used instead, but the client didn't have the access. Okay. So, to get the users from SharePoint group, we first need to initialize 3 different variables. We need one string variable called group, which will hold the email addresses of the group members, and we need an integer variable called I, which will serve as a counter. Lastly, we'll need an array variable called users, which will contain the array of users from our query. Okay. So initialize that variable, this variable, and that variable. Getting the SharePoint group members. Okay, so there's a API endpoint you hit. Get a group ID, parse the results. Let me go down. Setting the user object, looping through the users. Okay, so end result is you can send an email to a SharePoint security group using Flow now, which is pretty powerful. Okay, import a synonym thesaurus to improve search in SharePoint Server. Whoa. How to create a thesaurus. Create, open a new text file using Notepad. On the top line of the file, let's see, let's go back. No matter which terms, spellings, or abbreviations a SharePoint search user uses, they're searching for something specific. By utilizing a simple thesaurus, we can make sure that a user searching for ER also gets results that include emergency room. So it looks like they're creating a CSV here of terms. A key, a synonym, and a language. Okay. Please go away. Alright, so you save it to the server / network location .csv. If your industry is like most others, you have many acronyms, yeah. So now you import your completed thesaurus. Log into SharePoint Server and run PowerShell with the SharePoint snap-in, or just use the SharePoint management shell. Either way, run as administrator, run the following commandlets, test your work. Huh. So what was the command? Get SP Enterprise Search Service Application, and then import a thesaurus. It's actually Wow. That looks pretty handy. That's something I could see using here in the future. What else we got? SharePoint Framework Project Structure. Please read previous post if you want to know about creating a client-side web part using SPFX. In the previous post, he explained the SPFX CSWB. The content search web part can be developed using, I think it's content search web part, CSWB. Using different tools and using NPM modules and its dependencies can be installed. Yemen Generator brings out the scaffolding of the project and builds the required project structure and code editors of our choice. Okay. Code dot open. Config.json. Copy assets. Deploy Azure storage. Let's see. Okay. Pretty technical post there, but it does kind of break down the SharePoint framework project structure. What else? SharePoint Online Search isn't displaying what I expect. Part 2. Okay. Enable dynamic groups. Mark D. Let's see what Mark D says about that. That's not what I... Oh, yeah, it is. Part 2, enable dynamic groups. Where's the synopsis here? This occasional series probably ought to be titled How to Solve a Search Problem by asking Mikhail. But he probably doesn't want to be the world's help desk for search. Luckily, I know him. In my previous post, I showed you how to simplify your code by using PNP.js and async await. I didn't focus much on what I was trying to accomplish. The goal of the search call was to get a list of all the sites which the current user could access. We built a My Team Sites SPFX web part, and this call is in the services for it. I've been trying to get the web part to display what we want, which wasn't as simple as we would have thought. If you work with the search APIs all the time, these things may be old hat to you. But since there is usually a big gap in between the times I use them, my memory can get a little fuzzy. Yep. In the prior post in this series, I talked about how the way that the search API trims duplicates, which may make total sense in many ad hoc search results. We're into another search feature. In this instance, since we're trying to retrieve all the sites to which the current user has access, we're asking the search API to return objects where content class equals STS site. I'd already turned off duplicate trimming, can't catch me twice on that, but we still weren't getting all of the sites back. Even more strangely, we were getting some modern sites back, but not others. So anyways, if you run into that problem, here's a good post for you. New no-code solutions for custom formatting in SharePoint. Okay. I think we saw some of that. If I'm not mistaken, this will be the column formatting. Yeah. Good post on that. If you haven't seen that, that's really interesting, coming right out of the box. Microsoft Flow Beginner's Guide, how to conditionally update SharePoint list items. Ooh, I bet that's helpful for most. Let's see. Haven't used Flow in production yet, but read docs. So you can do so many cool things. When SharePoint item is created, it will check the items field and update the same item based on a condition. So yeah, here's a good, looks like a beginner tutorial on using Flow to do things in SharePoint. So you might be used to using SharePoint Designer workflows, 2010, 2013 versions. If you haven't used Flow yet and you have access to it, get your hands dirty in there. It's awesome. There are so many triggers and actions that you can use in there. All right, so what else? Microsoft saw that. Why I stick to SharePoint out-of-the-box functionality. Yeah, this is a constant debate in our particular world. When I configure an intranet portal, project portal, or document management system for my clients, I only use what's already available in SharePoint. I do not use any custom coding or third-party tools. This is a key ingredient in my implementation. Yep, pros and cons. He's an advocate for OOB. And you're probably going to find a lot of good details and reasons why you might want to do that. Let's look at Style SPFX Workbench. SharePoint Framework is SPFX, if you didn't know. The SharePoint Framework is a new JavaScript, I think if I mess this up, that's okay, we'll fix it later. But it's a way for you to incorporate custom coded solutions into the SharePoint world and have direct access to things that you need in the SharePoint on the SharePoint side. So styling that SPFX workbench is an option here apparently. So the workbench is it's like this thing to where you can develop against SharePoint locally and offline. It sort of mimics the experience of developing in a SharePoint space, but it's offline, and then you can migrate it and publish it as needed after that. Informative. Thanks for posting. Yep. So he found a way to style some of that. So you can give it a width there. What else? Last one, I think. SharePoint camel query against user multi-field types using CamelX. Sometimes we need to query list items against fields which have user multi-type. In order to do that with CamelX, we will use support of lookup multi-field types added a few years ago in CamelX. I'm not familiar with CamelX. Let me go check that out. It's a free and open source library. Simplifies creating of camel queries for Windows SharePoint services by using expression trees. Okay. So they found a way to query against user multi-field types. All right. Well, that's all the items in our newsletter today. But we'll keep doing this, and every morning at 11 a.m. I'll pretty much be hitting Twitter to see what the latest news is on the daily. But weekly, we do send this newsletter out sometime early morning that does compile all of that stuff. So if you're interested in receiving that newsletter, then again, there should be a link in chat there to sign up for that newsletter and get you access to it. As well, in our newsletter now, we've got a link directly to the Twitch channel, so you'll see that you can review this with us live like we're doing now, Fridays from 12 to 1. What else? Down here in our events for SharePoint in the community, a lot of SharePoint Saturdays. Got your Coimbatore in January. You've got Virginia Beach, San Diego, St. Louis, North Germany, Bremen, Salt Lake City, and Las Vegas coming up. So those are your SharePoint Saturdays that are listed there. Also got an online course coming up on January 10th for getting started with Office 365 app development. So there's a link there in the newsletter for you if you're interested in that. What else? SP TechCon. So we'll be in Austin and Boston, February 10th through the 13th. We'll be there with a booth, so come by and see us. I won't be there, but Rob and Marco will be there, so go shake some hands and say hey. If you're going and you'd like a discount on a ticket, hit us up. We've got some discount codes for you to use to get some money back on that ticket price. You can hit me up at sales@bamboosolutions.com. What else? March 14th through the 15th in Branson, we've got North American Collaboration Summit. So there's a bunch of events going on around the world in the SharePoint space. So that's pretty much it. That's all I got for today's newsletter roundup. You guys got any questions or anything going on with you guys? We'll give it a couple minutes here and then we'll hang it up. Yo, Derek, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. All right, then. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it, so I appreciate you guys jumping on. Fighting with some CSS. Amen to that, dude. Hey, were you able to jump on Open Chat this morning? I was working through some more of that sandbox template. So Monday, 11 a.m., I'm still going to do Open Chat. I'm going to continue that. I think I'm going to take your... yeah, that's all right. I'm going to... Oh, sorry, guys. I'm going to take your Angular project and start to iterate on that. yeah, so we'll do that on Monday. So Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. open chat. Come hang out. Come chat with me. Come talk anything. Then on Wednesdays and Fridays at noon, I'll be on as well. Wednesdays, every other Wednesday, I do a product demo of something that Bamboo Solutions creates and supports. And then on the alternating Wednesdays, I'll do use case implementation. So I'm continually iterating on a help desk project that I'm using as an example. And we're just adding functionality to it every Wednesday at noon, or every other Wednesday. So join me on Wednesdays at noon and join me on Fridays at noon for the newsletter roundup. Thank you guys for joining. I will catch you all later. If you want to get in touch with us, you can hit me up at sales@bamboosolutions.com. And then there's a link to our website there in chat for you. So have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Bye.